Hey everyone, Suzi here, and today we're playing Watcher of Realms. For today's video, it's time to dive into the Nightmare faction. Let's do a little bit of an overview about some of these legendary heroes specifically, and of course, we're going to talk about that bundle. Is it worth getting? Let's discuss. Alright, so first of all, I do want to say that this video is intended to be helpful advice and conversation, regardless of if you're willing to purchase a bundle or not. This video is going to be a deep dive into, well, it's actually going to be more like a TLDR of the Nightmare faction legendary heroes. Who are the best? Who are the worst? Who are you willing to gamble on or not? Which ones are exclusive? And what are their quick TLDR roles? And we're going to look at some resources as well for where you can see more in depth about how you should build these heroes and where they are good to use in the game, besides just what my opinion is here. We're going to look at other community resources, just like I did from my last video. And in case you missed it regarding this, yes, there was this creator spotlight thing here shown, and all of these creators, myself included, had a promo code. That was a couple videos ago posted for me, and then before this, I posted my Infernal video, and now we're on to the Nightmare video. Those banners here did mean something, and that's because this was related to a Smile 1 promotion. So right now, Smile 1 has some special bundles going on for the month of June, the rest of the month here. At the end of the month, these are gone. They're limited time only, and there's some really great value, like these bonus bundles, 12 summons for less than $5. For example, there's an ancient one that's really good as well, and some other here too. But there's Infernal faction, and there is Nightmare faction bundle. So, friendly reminder, of course, if you are going to spend and you want to check out these bundles, be sure to use my links in the description or the pinned comment. It can directly support the channel, and I greatly appreciate it. So we're going to dive in and talk about the different heroes that we can get from this banner, and quickly talk about the ones we can't as well. But yeah, let me pull up that graphic. Alright, so the Nightmare faction legendaries are going to be the focus of this conversation, but from the bundle, let's see who we can actually get. So the bundle's pretty cool. It does give other resources, not just the Hero Pact card, but specifically you can get the Lord Toreador, who's one of the most important, arguably the most important lord actually in the game right now. Legendary hero Abomination, Arrogance, who's amazing. Eris, Azor, Hatsa, Kaneza, Magmus, Salazar, Twyla, Yuri, and Valeria. So this is an interesting hot mess of amazing and terrible, unfortunately. So it is a gamble. So, all right, let's take an easier look at the graphics so you guys can see. So everyone with a red border are people that you cannot get from this specific resource. So let's look at, I'm going to go through those red ones first that you cannot get. So we cannot get Rygar. He is an ancient exclusive legendary lord, but Toreador is actually still better in most cases. He brings more value for specific boss content. Surprisingly enough, we kind of thought that this guy would come out and replace Toreador, who's a tank. Who needs a tank? Well, Titanic Ruins says you need a tank, and Toreador's perfect. We also have Volca, who is not included because she is just the free hero you get from the Progress Awards, and then you get her Soul Stones by doing Tide. Maw was a fusion that has not been added to the pool, but he's honestly pretty meh, so it's best that he's not included here anyway. Lugaru is an ancient exclusive chaotic legendary. He cannot be pulled from normal summons or this, and the same is true for Giselle and Admiral Claw. So Giselle here is known to be a pretty meh legendary as well, but she did get a decent buff, and her buff gave her some synergy with another hero, adding a bond skill that actually did make her much more valuable than she used to be. Admiral Claw, on the other hand, is one of those legendaries that I feel like he's so not talked about that I don't even remember anything about him myself. So I'm not even going to trust myself to say where he's maybe good at, because I genuinely don't remember. That's really sad to say, but it's true. So let's just leave it at that. Lust, Kagiri, and Sun Wukong have taken over the game for boss killers. Sun Wukong and Kagiri have kind of power crept Lust a bit. However, I personally still use an A5 Lust is still amazing, especially when you have her bond pair of Arrogance. So I would say don't let people don't be too blinded by Kagiri and Sun Wukong being the only answer for everything. If you do have Lust on your roster and you think she feels useless now, I would say that's definitely not true. And she's still a fantastic hero to use. But you cannot get any of them. We know, again, Kagiri is the best boss damage dealer, I think, still in the game right now, technically. When he's awakened, of course. And Sun Wukong is amazing with awakenings as well, and great against bosses, great in guild versus guild. I even saw some teams with Kagiri in guild versus guild recently, where he's kind of at the end and just cleans up anything that gets through. So definitely some creative strategies there for all of these heroes. And the Nightmare faction is a very strong faction when it comes to doing boss content overall. But all right, who can you get? Obviously, all of these blue-green dots here are the ones you can get from this pack. So Toreador, again, the most important lord maybe in the game because he pairs with the most important DPSs in the game, Kagiri and Sun Wukong. He is a tank that has that kind of like, you know, he doesn't die. He has like a death prevention mechanic, which always helps in content like Guild Wars. He brings a stun, he brings a defense down. He's just an interesting character that helps a lot more than you would expect the average tank. Usually when you pull a tank, it's not that exciting. Now, if you have like all these heroes, but you don't have a Toreador, I don't know if you could still argue that it might be worth the gamble, but we'll talk about who should pull after. So let me just continue the thoughts here, I guess. Salazar. So Salazar is a legendary that's also been very power crept, who used to be a top tier boss killer damage dealer option. But of course, Sun Wukong, Kagiri, and Lust are all much better, honestly. So he doesn't get used as much for people that do have the limited heroes. And he is a fusion now, so you wouldn't pull on this banner or you wouldn't buy this pack just for Salazar, that's for sure. Hudson, on the other hand, is definitely someone you would buy this for. She has been one of the best DPS in the game since day one, and she still is. Fantastic burst damage, AoE, marksman. She is invisible, and she's perfect for the Gear Raid 3 progression and endgame content, and many other areas of the game as well. Anywhere you need a quick burst DPS, Gear Dungeon 2 as well. So good. And definitely like would be a top pick for this banner. Ares is a fighter nightmare. Kind of more a support than a DPS. People kind of hate on him because his damage isn't the greatest, but he does bring a lot of debuffs to put on the enemies that allow your entire team to do more damage. So while he might not be the one dishing out a ton of damage, he can definitely enable a team very well. So if you're earlier on and you get Ares, you could absolutely throw him in your roster and you're going to notice a huge help for your team. So Arrogance was one of the best DPS in the game as well, but he has been very power crept by his lovely bond pair Lust, Kagiri, and Sun Wukong. So if you have all of them, you're probably not using Arrogance too much. However, I did notice that Arrogance is one of the most used heroes in the live arena mode, which is pretty interesting to see. I think that's pretty cool. He's very good overall for any account progression, though. If you're an early account, getting an Arrogance as one of your first legendaries is definitely like the dream. It's definitely a wish list first pick for one of your early legendaries because he has such versatility with his kit. with airborne units, AoE damage, and great range. She's a very, very good fighter. Now, Abomination used to be the fusion instead of Salazar, but they replaced him with Salazar, and that was for good reason. He's just not needed. He can be very tanky, of course, and he's a fighter that does okay damage. So he's someone that you can build early on, maybe just to level 50, not even take him to 60. I mean, you can, honestly, because it's not exactly hard to get people to level 60 once you get rolling in this game. But he would be great to replace a tank and help kill stuff along the way if you're looking for more of that bruiser type, fighter that can fulfill a couple roles when maybe you don't have the best options for tanks just yet. But you wouldn't use this and hope to get him. Valeria, maybe. Valeria is a chaotic faction unit as well, and she definitely has some value in PvP content with her unyielding. She could be used in boss fights too. She's a pretty good boss damage dealer, but again, the limiteds have definitely surpassed her there too. But she's very, very good, and if anyone doesn't have her or doesn't have her maxed out, you wouldn't be too upset pulling her on a card like this. Azor, the tank. Now, he's got potential in some areas of the game. He's pretty bad if you just are like, want a general tank. But if you need someone with a little bit of multi-purpose who can deal some damage and be a tank as well, kind of in the sense of thinking Abomination, he's okay. And he does have an exclusive artifact and gear that really help him to be a little bit better. But again, he's definitely one you don't want. Like Magmus, who is next, another poop emoji. If you bought this pack and you got Magmus, you're not going to be excited. He is a fighter as well, like a lot of these, and well, he's another one where most people probably aren't even going to remember what he does, his kit. Like, I don't remember his entire kit right now at all because I barely used him because nobody uses him. He's definitely not highly rated, and I don't think he would make it into most formations when a lot of the epics are also better. Kaneza is the same in my opinion. She is just very underwhelming, and she has this mechanic that makes it sound like she's amazing to be built with crazy high attack speed, but it just doesn't pay off. I tried building her a couple different ways and just doing a basic AMR 18, and like her compared to Valeria or someone else who's a simple fighter, she just did no damage. I couldn't get any damage out of her. And she does bond pair with Salazar, but again, that is definitely a bond that needs a buff if you want to be excited about her. Not anytime soon. All right, Yuri now at the bottom. Yuri here is fantastic. She's a marksman. She's also in the Piercer faction, so that's really helpful. And she brings some debuffs to help your whole team do more damage, and she'll do pretty good damage herself. I've just noticed such great damage, and I've used Yuri a lot when it comes to events. Whenever I wanted to use like my Salazar and Araka, I wish I had Iovar, for a nice extended range marksman team, often in the events, the temporary events, I've used them a lot. Yuri's made a huge impact in those, and I absolutely love her. She's very good. And then we have, oh, and it also really helps for the faction trials where you need some ranged fighters. If you don't have Hot Soot, you're kind of screwed in the faction trials besides Greed. Greed's like the only other attainable option. So having Yuri helps people push if they're kind of stuck and need someone ranged to clear some of those guys that come across. And then, yeah, last but not least is Twyla, who's fantastic. You're going to see Twyla at the top of leaderboards still here and there regarding boss content. She's amazing. She does bond pair with Hex. However, she's still amazing even if you don't have Hex or use him in the same team. Her mechanic with the bond pair does require them to be in the same team for it to work. However, you're not going to notice Hex and Twyla in most of those top tier teams. You're just going to see her, and it's because she has amazing damage on her own. Her awakenings are very good as well, and definitely one you would be hoping to pull on this banner, or this bundle, I should say. Okay, so who should actually buy this, or is it a no for everyone? I have to say this is the same answer for me as the last one. An early account that's just progressing, that's willing to gamble a little bit and spend a little bit of money, just like you would buy a bunch of summons on a weekend. It's no different. And the pool of heroes is smaller, so you're more likely to get someone good than you would if you were pulling on the entire normal standard summoning pool. This is like pulling on a banner that's got a limited pool of heroes. Think of it that way. Would you spend, if you're the kind of person that would spend 50 bucks during a summoning event to hopefully get someone like a Twyla, a Yuri, an Arrogance, a Hatsa, or a Torador, if you would spend 50 bucks worth of summons, then why wouldn't you do this? Because you get that and more. So I really think this is worth the gamble for a new account. I think so. I bought these. Guilty as charged. I bought every single one of these that came out early on. 100%, no questions. It's so funny. How could I not? It's just, in order to get those heroes, it's just, I guess, if you're like more mid-range, mid-game, you've been playing since Kagiri or Sun Wukong's first event, you probably have enough on your roster that you don't need to pull for this. But if you're newer, you're a couple weeks, a couple months in, I would argue that this is an amazing chance to get some heroes if you're missing the good ones. Especially if you're missing Torador. It definitely is a good chance. And again, it comes with more. So these hero packs come with 2,000 diamonds. So of course that's at least 2 10 pulls of summons, normal ones. Plus more likely 3 10 pulls when you sell the rares and get more diamonds and pull again. And then it comes with the max level boost ×1. So this will take someone straight to level 60 instantly. It doesn't have to be the character you pulled. So this has more value on an epic because it takes less fodder. It takes more fodder to get an epic up. You have to crunch more heroes and then make them a 5-star, then make them a 6-star. So like if you are brand new and you pull for one of these packs and you haven't built your E-Drill yet, who's a game changer in content, you could use that max boost on E-Drill, get her instantly level 60, and you are going to find yourself cruising through content. Plus, hopefully whoever you get on the actual summon is worth it, right? But yeah, I think that is a good overview of the characters. Now, let's go to a couple community resources. Don't take my word for it. Let's take a look at a couple others. Alright, as I showed in my last video, we have fastidious.gg is a great resource overall for content. He does have just general guides on all the heroes, and you can search simply by the Nightmare Council. We're not even talking about all the epics that are amazing. This is just talking about the rares, or sorry, the legendaries. So if you want to know about those epics or everyone else in the game, this is definitely a resource to come to. So Nightmare Council, who is good overall, triple S for Torador and Hatsa. Oh yeah. Arrogance used to be a triple S. I'm surprised. How can he not have them? Okay, whatever. I guess it's because it averages out with them being kind of meh in certain areas where you need AoE damage. Fine. Fair enough. But, I mean, look at all these not triple S's, Brett. But how can you not say, like, Sun Wukong is a triple S? Because he's good in almost every area of the game. Except, yeah, Gear Dungeon 2. Or, wait, which one? Gear Dungeon 1. Gear Dungeon 1. But so, neither is Hatsa. I don't know. Okay, anyway, these ones, a couple more belong at the triple S level, I think. But you can see, everyone has some triple S's involved, right? Valeria, Twyla, Yuri, lots of, oh, sorry, not triple S's, S pluses. Lots of S pluses, even some S's for an Abomination. Campaign progression, AMR, Void Rift. Again, because he can be like a tanky fighter, he could survive pretty well and help in areas where you need a tank or a fighter, or you just, yeah, need to clear a wave. He's a great staller. Salazar is still great in top tier for the basic AMR stuff. The harder stages, he's gonna fall off a little bit. Ares is, again, very good support in boss content or AMR. I would put him a little higher, but I guess he just gets power crept by the others. And again, Magnus has no S's or S pluses. I'm not surprised there. Same thing with Kineza. And Ma, we can't get. Azor, I think honestly AMR deserves a little bit higher because you can put him on the outside, at least for stage 18, which is the goal for most people before you get to those really hard stages that they added later on with the special resources. You could put him on the end as like a tank to stall the enemies, or up in one of the top spots, and he kills the enemies and not just stalls them. So I found him to have great use in AMR personally. But that's why any tier list or whatever is always, you know, you still have your own decisions at the end of the day. Okay, yeah, Giselle is not someone we can get, so that is the discussion there from Fastidious' site. But yeah, you can always click people, like if you click a Hatsa, you can see her skills, awakenings, how should you build her, talks about the optimal build for stats, what gear, and what artifacts for Hatsa. The only thing this doesn't mention is the chalice, which is really important for Hatsa to help keep her alive with her positioning in a guild war. So maybe he has that noted somewhere, but yeah, another great resource. And then over to Prospector's website here. He has been working on his site. It's almost all done. He has hero guides for everyone as well. You can go to the filters and you can search for Nightmare Council if you want to debate about these heroes yourself. And yeah, you can check out to see how to build them. What if you pull an Arrogance? What about Arrogance? How to build? What sets are good for him? What artifacts are good for him? That is all here, as well as rankings for the stages of where he would be good. So this is another wonderful tool to take advantage of. It does have the BP listed too for the max when you are worried about those Demon Soldier affiliations. Yeah, that's it, guys. I think this kind of sums it up. Again, just another TLDR of who should get this. I don't think later game accounts it makes any sense to get this because you're just going to have Sun Wukong and Kagiri in your mind. You're going to be trying to pull for them. Or if you're only missing a few heroes, you could say an Ascent banner you hope to get a Torador on. But yeah, I think it could be worth the gamble if you're a big spender and you're progressing pretty quick and you've got lots of heroes, but you still just can't get that Torador, and you don't have a Rygar either. I could see people being willing to gamble and spend for this. But I feel like this is more of that mid-tier spender that's early game where a lot of these heroes could be impactful, so it's like worth the risk. But I think considering the limited heroes being so good now, it's almost better to take the Infernal one. And no, I can't even say that because this one has technically the better heroes if you want to be like Arrogance, Hatsud, and Torador. Compared to what? Twin Fiend, Lord Phineas. Although Eileen and Pharisee are so needed too. I don't know. It's definitely a debate if you're debating and only buying one. But it really just comes down to your account. Who do you have? Who do you not have? Do you need those nightmare boss killers like the ones here? Do you want that Yuri to go with your Piercer team maybe? Do you need that Torador boss? Lord bonus, I mean? Or with the Infernal, if you choose to buy that pack instead, there's a lot of great heroes there that could be worth the gamble too. So definitely something worth considering. And just remember, at the end of the day, you're not just buying a pack with a bundle that is a guarantee for a random hero, and if you don't get a hero, it's all wasted. Keep in mind that you also get the diamonds, you also get the power boost, and if you get someone that you happen to have Awaken 5 already, you could sell the damn thing for the Awakening shop and use those coins toward another thing, I guess, at worst case. But I don't think anyone with Awaken 5 legendaries would likely be buying this pack. I don't think that's the smartest value to gamble if you have things that well developed, just hoping to get one character you're missing, unless you're just a really big spender and you're willing to gamble on everything. But yeah, hope this conversation was helpful. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Oh, and use my link if you do choose to purchase a bundle for a Smile one. It's always in the description of my videos and usually in that pinned comment.